Hi guys, Lisa Edwards of Exclusive Career Coaching here, and I want to talk about your emotions at work. So many of us, and I'm speaking especially to us women, operate in what my coach calls emotional childhood at work as opposed to emotional adulthood. So let's talk a little bit about that. So emotional childhood, what's that going to look like at work? It's going to look like things like you have a conflict with another person or you disagree with something they've said, and instead of approaching them as an adult and having an intelligent conversation with them to iron out your differences, you might do one or more of five things. You might avoid them. So just try not to come in contact with them. You might gossip about them to other workers. You might vent to maybe your spouse or your significant other or kind of whoever will listen to you. You just blow off steam about that individual. You might slack off on your work performance because you figure, oh, they're not doing a good job, or it doesn't matter, or whatever the thought is in your head. And you decide that that's an excuse that you can kind of slack off on your work performance. Or you become passive aggressive. And I actually saw this in my work environment with the last team that I led. I had someone who became very passive aggressive with me. Instead of answering my questions directly and owning up to her emotions that I was hearing, so she was gossiping. I was hearing about it from other people at the company. And instead of her owning up to these emotions that I knew she was having, she became very passive aggressive at work. So if you're doing any of those things, you're really an emotional childhood. So I want you to think about the opposite of that, being an emotional adult at work, where you are kind of facing your situations head on. You're not afraid to have those difficult conversations. You own up when you make a mistake. You own up when you don't know something, when you were wrong about something. But you are acting as an adult. You are in an emotional adulthood. And a lot of times what this has to do with is reframing your thoughts. So if you listen to the video that I've created on circumstances, we talk about how your circumstances don't have any effect on you until you have a thought about it. So that coworker and his or her behavior, or the boss's behavior, or something that did or didn't happen at work has no effect on you until you have a thought about it. And you can either have a thought that kind of puts you in emotional adulthood or emotional childhood. The final thing I want to say on this topic is that people pleasers are liars. So my coach, Brooke Castillo, has frequently said that on her podcast, The Life Coach School, because if you're in the business of trying to please people at work or at home, you are not being in integrity with yourself. You are not being true to your feelings. You are not owning up to your own emotions and dealing with them in a mature way. You're trying to kind of push them under the rug by controlling how other people think about you, by trying to please them as a way of manipulating them. And I promise you that does not work. So think about the next time you have a situation at work come up, a conflict of some sort, something doesn't go the way you had hoped it would. You have a choice at that time. Do I want to be an emotional adulthood about this circumstance, or do I want to be an emotional childhood? And I think awareness is a big piece of this. So hopefully, now that you understand the difference and kind of have been made aware of it, hopefully you'll make the right decision the next time to be an emotional adulthood. Hope this helps. See you next time.